Can you locate Alaska and Hawaii on a map? Well, after some wrangling over fishing rights and state constitutional issues, Congress admitted Alaska to the Union on January 3, 1959, making it the 49th state. Alaskans had balked at the idea of becoming a commonwealth, in other words, paying taxes but having no real representation, so after years of work, their dream to be a state was finally realized. Sugar, pineapple, and a naval base. That's what Hawaii had to offer the U.S., and the U.S. was happy to have it. On August 21, 1959, Hawaii was admitted to the Union as our 50th state. There was growth other places than just adding states. Suburbs or the city? Where would you rather live? Well, with the changing economy and a changing population, the suburbs were born. By the 1950s, the U.S. was producing 2/3 of the world's manufactured goods. Jobs were available to almost anyone who wanted one. With the help of the GI Bill, veterans coming back from World War II were given college tuition and low-interest home loans. This allowed workers to get an education before re-entering the workforce, as well as the opportunity to own a home for the first time. In fact, so many people moved out of the cities and into the suburbs that 1/3 of Americans lived in the suburbs. Business owners moved factories to the suburbs to break up the power of the unions. If people weren't all located in the same place, they wouldn't have time to meet to spread discontent. Watch this video clip on the birth of the suburbs.
As couples married and started families, they longed to own a home, to grab their share of the American dream. With the GI Bill, they could, in the wide open spaces outside the cities that became known as the suburbs.
The suburbs were built partly by the GI Bill, by deliberate government policies which provided mortgages for men moving into single-family homes in segregated neighborhoods, which is the only thing the bill would pay for.
The suburbs offered white America freedom, security, and contentment in a comfortable home with a lawn to mow on weekends. In the suburbs, air was cleaner, recreational facilities abounded, and crime rates were almost forgotten. By the end of the decade, 1/3 of all Americans lived in the suburbs, and 1 out of every 4 houses had been built in the 1950s.
The suburbs began on Long Island, New York, with the development of the first planned housing development called Levittown, originally called Island Trees. Built by William Levitt in 1949, he assembled prefabricated homes along curvilinear drives, circular drives in other words, off the parkways leading from New York City. The 32 by 25-foot houses sold for $7,990. All the prospective buyer needed was a $90 deposit and payments of $58 per month. The nature of Levittown was a community. This was a major attraction. It was built as an extended cluster of neighborhoods with village centers to hold the elements together. Americans could be homeowners at last. A bigger house plus a better income added to a need and a desire for more children. The added room a home offered as opposed to an apartment allowed people to have larger families. This combined with the added income of better jobs contributed to the baby boom of the late 40s and into the 50s. The baby boom started for several reasons. Number 1, couples who had postponed having kids during the Great Depression and World War II started having kids. The GIs, the return of the GIs following the war. Higher incomes, as I said, equals more kids, and better health care, improved nutrition, and medical advances all meant lower infant death rates. The peak year was 1957, with 4.3 million babies born. That's 1 every 7 seconds. Strong family values were the center of every household, and the American dream of the family and the home began to be realized by the bulk of Americans. Now, the baby boom still has an impact on society, and it greatly impacted society then. Number one, women left the workforce. Number two, there was a demand for baby products and services. For instance, diaper companies appear during this time period, and we also have diaper services. So you could leave, most diapers were cloth diapers. You would leave your dirty cloth diapers and somebody would come and pick them up and launder them for you, drop off a new set of diapers, clean diapers. Johnson & Johnson grows exponentially during the baby boom. Their sole focus is around baby products. In about 5 years, school enrollment boomed. And today, the baby boom is impacting society because of retirement. More and more baby boomers are retiring. This video is about the baby boom.
The baby boom continued its unprecedented growth throughout the decade, finally peaking in 1957 when 4.3 million babies were born, one every 7 seconds. By 1960, the U.S. population had grown to more than 180 million. The post-war good times rolled across America. After a generation of frugality brought on by the Great Depression and World War II, Americans were ready to spend their money. Rising wages, low prices, and a cascade of new luxuries and appliances kept consumerism high. And a strong economy made for a strong country, one that stood a better chance of outlasting communism and winning the Cold War. Conformity and strong family values were important assets in the fight against communism. While the federal government encouraged mothers to concentrate on raising children, husbands and fathers were told to focus on their jobs and to provide for their families. The American dream was the family and the home.